Ed here, InfoSpot 411 YouTube channel. I want to do a video on this topic because there's a lot of bad information floating around on YouTube, especially from these sovereign citizens and other people on the topic of a traffic stop. So the correct way to handle a traffic stop, along with some information I'm going to give you here that you will find very beneficial. Okay, first is to understand that the purpose of a traffic stop is for the police officer to adjust your driving behavior. So if you're doing, 45 and a 30, that police officer wants to adjust that behavior so you're not speeding again and that doing 45 and a 30. And it's done right here one of two ways. Either a warning and with police officer discretion. Second one is a traffic ticket. So with the warning and police officer discretion on a traffic stop, let's say something simple as, you're doing 12 miles over the speed limit, all right, or you blew a stop sign. You failed to stop for a stop sign. Different factors come into play, and I'll tell you some of the main ones here. One is your attitude, okay? The second factor is your age, your driving record. Another one is how the police officer feels about you with this traffic stop and the violation. If he or she feels, you know what, he or she understands what's going on, it doesn't need to go to the point of a ticket. I'm going to go talk to the individual and I'll let him know. A police officer might use discretion, come back, say, hey, just so you know, this is 30 miles an hour. You were doing 42. If I see you doing this again, I'll give you a ticket. But today, I'm going to give you a warning and just let you be aware what the speed limit is here. You have a safe day, good drive home, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So sometimes police officer can use a warning discretion. That's like sometimes you'll hear someone say, oh, I was over in this township and the county sheriff deputy gave me a ticket a year ago for doing 12 or 13 over the speed limit. And I had to go to court on that. And 2 days ago, I was over in this city, and the police officer is real nice, just spoke to me about it, and, just gave me a warning, and I was on my way. Well, that's, one officer can use discretion versus the other when it comes to a traffic stop, because it's a civil infraction, which I'll get into. So that's a little understanding on the traffic stop for a basic civil infraction traffic stop. Now I'm going to get in here too is things to do. All right, these are the things to do when you are pulled over by a police officer on a traffic stop violation. One is the biggest that a lot of people miss is just be respectful. Even if you don't respect that police officer, county sheriff deputy, state trooper for things he or she is saying or the way they're acting, whatnot, just at least show respect. Okay. Do not argue with the police officer on the scene about the traffic violation stop. Like, oh, I did stop for that stop sign. You weren't looking, and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. The minute you start arguing about the traffic stop itself with the police officer, he or she is going to have this mindset. Well, you can go argue with the magistrate or the judge when you go to court on this. I'm not going to stand out here and you're not going to convince me otherwise. Go argue with the judge. That's the mindset of the police officer on the scene. So don't waste your time. Don't do it. Okay. Another one is if it is at nighttime, you ever see how the police officer will shine that light in your car or have that flashlight in your face? Turn on your dome lights, turn on your car lights as soon as you pull over to the side of the road or, parking lot, side street, whatever. It's an issue of officer safety. The police don't do it just to be mean and, anything of that nature, I should say. It's an officer safety thing. They don't know who you are, who's in that car, is there a gun in that car, it's sitting in your lap, whatnot. So, yeah, they're going to shine that light. So if you turn the lights on, it puts the police officer's mind at ease a little bit at nighttime. Just a tip to help you out, all right? Another one is, especially with officer safety in the traffic stop, Do not move around a lot. You don't have to put your hands like right on the wheel and just stay frozen, looking all paranoid and nervous. But just keep your hands where the police officer can see them when he or she approaches your car. And don't be all of a sudden before the police officer gets there, lunge over to reach in your glove box or under your seat. Oh, I think my registration is here. Wait till the police officer gets there. Because now the police officer really is going to be on edge because they don't know who you are and they have to always assume the worst, that you might be reaching for a gun or another weapon there if you make a sudden movement before he or she gets to the car, or even when the police officer's talking to you. Simple as this. I have my registration and proof of insurance, officer. It's in my glove box. Is it okay if I reach over and get it? And the 9 times out of 10 police officers like, sure, that's fine. And he or she's going to watch you do that, all right? So just some good advice. All right. I'm going to get in here first as to things you are required to answer, okay, at a traffic stop. This is where a lot of bad information gets out. Confirming type questions you have to answer. The police officer wants to confirm your date of birth. Give it to him or her. Give it to the officer. Driver's license info. Maybe the police officer has a question about the driver's license. Yes, you are required to answer that if there's a question on the driver's license. Your proof of insurance, it could be something like, hey, your proof of insurance says Allstate here. I went in my computer, it's showing that you were insured with State Farm. I do see that it's saying you just had the Allstate insurance a week ago. I just want to confirm this or that with your car insurance. Answer that question. You are required, so the police officer can confirm exactly who your insurance company is. Another one, just simply your address. Maybe you recently moved a month ago and it's not showing in the computer the address that's on your license, and officer asks, when did you move, is this your address? Yes, you are required to answer those questions. You're just asking for trouble if you don't, all right? And you're not going to get in any type of legal trouble or any admission of guilt by answering these simple questions that are related to the traffic stop, okay? Now, questions you are not legally obligated to answer, all right? Where are you going, all right? It's really none of your business, officer, where I'm going. You don't want to say that, though, in that way. Just let the police officer know. You can always be polite. All due respect, officer, I don't want to talk about where I'm going. It doesn't relate to this traffic stop. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not obligated to answer. And something of that nature. Here's another big one. When they first come up to your car, a lot of times the police officers say, do you know why I pulled you over? Well, if you say, oh, was it because I made an improper lane change, or was it because I was speeding? Now you're admitting guilt. You're saying this is what I did. So when you're asked, do you know why I pulled you over? Here's a great answer. Officer, I'm not sure. What is it that I did? What did I do? Officer, what did I do? Is there something? What is it that I did? Just basically, I'm not sure what is it that I did while you're pulling me over. That's a nice, polite way of answering a question without having an admission of guilt. Okay. Now I'm going to get to the big question here, all right? When a police officer asks you, do you have any narcotics/drugs in your car or weapons? Be honest with your answer. You get in no trouble. Just say, hopefully you don't, okay? We're going to assume you don't. Just say, no, officer, I don't, okay? The next question a lot of times will be a trap question, as you see in Live PD and those other shows. Police officer will then ask you, well, if you have nothing in your car, you wouldn't have a problem with me searching your car here for a few minutes just to confirm that for my own peace of mind or safety of such and such in that nature. This is how you answer the question in a polite and respectful way, okay? Is, all due respect, officer, I do not give consent for you to search my car. You can do whatever you have to do, but you're not getting any consent from me, or I do not give my consent for you to search my car. You're letting the police officer know, if you're going to search my car based off your probable cause and you want to put it in the police report, I'm not going to interfere. with your investigation. This is basically what you're saying by you don't give consent, but I'm not legally giving you consent to put in a police report that I said you can search my car. And if he or she tries playing word games back and forth, well then what's the problem with searching your car if you don't have nothing in there? Just say, officer, to repeat myself again, I do not give consent for you to search my car. So a lot of times that police officer on the scene is just going to make a determination to either just drop this issue, or the police officer will ask you to step out, may most likely detain you, can handcuff you, put you behind the car or in the back of his car. You're just being detained. And if the police officer feels that he or she has discretion, the probable cause, they'll go ahead and search your car anyway. There's nothing you can do to fight that, but you just want to be on record as not giving consent. All right. I want to speak here briefly, give you a little extra information on when you actually get a traffic ticket. Let's say you got a speeding ticket, okay? A ticket, first of all, understand, is a civil infraction. It's not a crime. There is no proof beyond a reasonable doubt. It's a civil infraction. The key word is civil. With that being said, it's preponderance of the evidence, whoever the evidence weighs more in favor of when you're talking civil versus the criminal. When you get that ticket, you basically, you can just outright send a check and pay the ticket. But let's get into, you want to go to court and either get a break or fight the ticket, all right? There's two things that'll happen when you go to court. You'll have an informal hearing is your first one, and that you will go before a magistrate. Now, I'm speaking in the state of Michigan. Not every state is the same as Michigan. Most are. So in a formal hearing, you will be before a magistrate, and the magistrate will speak to the police officer about the traffic ticket. Let's say it's speeding, and get his or her side of the story. Then the magistrate will speak to you and then politely ask you, do you plead guilty, not guilty, or guilty with an excuse. All right. This is my recommendation to you when you're talking just a simple traffic ticket, okay? A lot of people love to say, oh, I'm guilty with an excuse, blah, blah, blah. And then the magistrate will say, okay, see the cashier on the way out, and you're getting your points assessed to you, and your insurance goes up, and you're going to be paying that $150 ticket, let's say, at the cashier's window. Or people will try to fight it, and it's preponderance of the evidence. You know, I didn't do this, or this reason, that reason, So the magistrate has a decision to make. Preponderance of the evidence, whoever the evidence weighs more in favor of. Your word versus the police officer's word. 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose. All right? What you want to do is simple. When the magistrate speaks to that police officer, asks you how you plead, you say, your magistrate, I like to enter a plea of guilty. And as soon as you say that, say, I'm not here, I made a mistake, I'm not here to argue the traffic stop. Your magistrate, all I like to do is just ask if it's possible, if I can have my ticket reduced to impeding traffic or no points violation ticket. Now in Michigan, one is impeding traffic, no points violation ticket. So what you're doing with this, if you have a clean driving record and a good attitude on the scene with the officer, and when you're before the magistrate, 9 times out of 10, the magistrate will say, that's fine, because you're going to pay the ticket at the cashier's window, all right? The district court's going to get their money. You admitted your guilt, and you just flat out said, I made a mistake. You're not debating the officer was in the wrong, or you didn't do what the officer is saying that you did on the traffic ticket. By saying that you made a mistake and you're asking to have your ticket reduced to a no points violation ticket, such as impeding traffic, with this is they get their money, but you don't get any points assessed on your license, so your insurance doesn't go up. And if you sit here and say, well, that still stinks because now I got to pay 150 some bucks for the ticket and blah, blah, blah. Well, let me go back to what I just said. It's preponderance of the evidence, whoever the evidence weighs more in favor of. And if it's your word, just a police officer's word, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose. So this is the best thing to do. You know, that's how the system works. And One other side note, these sovereign citizens that are all over YouTube claiming that you don't need a driver's license, that you are traveling and not driving, that's a bunch of malarkey. Would not advise that. You're going to get yourself in some very big legal trouble. Lastly, I just want to ask you guys, if you find it in your hearts, I'll have the link below my video in the description box for the DAV, which is the Disabled American Veterans. They're a great charity that help out veterans. So if you would like to make a charitable donation, whatever your heart may desire to give, it's much appreciated. I'm not making any money off this video, monetizing it, or any affiliated links of that nature. This is just a great charity I give to and I believe in. So if you find it in your hearts, it's a great charity to make a donation to the Disabled American Veterans below my video. Thanks. Hit that like and subscribe button here at InfoSpot 411 YouTube channel, and you'll be notified here with that notification bell on my videos, that new videos that get released. Have a great day now.